Hi, hello, vanakkam, and welcome back to yet another episode on your favorite Little's Law YouTube channel. So, let's say an example, a scenario where you have ever stared at a Linux server during a load test and wondering why your app is very slow, why your application is very slow. So, today I'll show you the top 5 Linux commands that reveal any hidden performance secrets so you can fix the bottlenecks like a pro. And in fact, in just 60 seconds, here what you will master. In fact, we're going to discuss that in a detailed video after this one. So the first thing is the top command, where you can spot the CPU hogs instantly, and why you sorting the percentage memory can save you hours. And then the VM stat, where you can decode the mysterious system slowdowns in just 10 seconds. And then you have the else of, where you can find which rogue process is holding your files hostage. And then we have the TCP dump, which will catch the sneaky network calls which is running your API performance. And you have the netstat, where you can expose the security risks which are hiding in a plain sight. And now I'll show you in the video the CPU fire drill, so that by the end of this video you'll know exactly how to put out the flames and prevent them. And again, this is for the subscribers and for the viewers. Smash the like button if you have ever wasted hours guessing at Linux performance issues. And let's dive into the video, and you will understand a lot of information today. Thank you, and we'll move to the video.
Hi, hello, vanakkam, and welcome back to the demo section. So there are a handful of key Linux commands that the system administrators use daily to monitor the performance of their computer and servers, and for debugging the performance issues and to predict and avoid any performance bottlenecks. So in this video, we'll look 5 commands that will help you monitor your CPU, the memory usage, the disk output operations, the network activity, the port configuration, and a lot more. So these commands allow you to easily identify and kill the processes that consume more resources than expected and those which cause performance issues. So we'll also take a closer look at the syntax and various options available so we can better understand these commands. Uh, so firstly, let's start with the top. So what is top? So top is one of the most frequently used commands by the performance testers or the performance engineers or by the DevOps or system administrators, no matter what. Top is the one of the most frequently used command because at a very high level, the command shows the system uptime. So on the top, you can see the system uptime, the CPU usage, the number of threads, the memory usage, the total used free, all these. So total used free, everything is shown here in terms of the memory, a list of running process and much more. So here, yeah, like you see here, we are able to see all these CPU, the memory and everything. So it gives us the high level, a very high level data of the Linux machine. And followed by that, there is a lot of information here and a lot of options to filter the task list, the kill processes, and we can sort the list and much more. So for example, we can sort the task list by the percentage CPU. Say, for example, here, let's say we have the percentage CPU here on the top, right? And then we have the percentage memory on the top. If I want to sort the task list by the CPU percentage, let's say I have a Java process or I have a SQL process which is running in this machine. And if I want to sort it down to find what is the maximum or what is the process that is taking the maximum CPU or the maximum memory, I can use this command. So let's go to the command and I'll execute it for you. Let me do a quick clear, and the command here is top minus O and then plus percentage mem, and when I run it, so this, if you see here, is sorting down the list for me, which is keeping the maximum. So 0.7 is the maximum amount of memory that has been utilized. So here you can see the sorted order, right, in terms of the percentage of memory. And when okay, let me just close it and clear, and now I'll sort it down using the CPU. So same way, top minus O plus percentage CPU, and this will give me the CPU. So in fact, there is nothing which is running, just taking too much of CPU percentage. So even in fact, okay, again now it has come. So we have got 0.3 that the top again. So that's how it actually works. So it actually shows us the maximum, the process that is taking maximum CPU. So and that's how it works. So as we have seen here, so we have seen the process that has been sorted by memory, and then we have seen the process that has been sorted by CPU. So this will actually help you to understand which is taking the maximum amount of memory. And it's easy for you to tell that, okay, so this particular process, so when you're running your performance testing, you can easily take the, you can easily filter out the process that is taking too much of time in your Linux machine. And sorting by CPU usage or memory consumption lets us identify the processes that could be causing the performance issues, and we can then easily kill those processes from the same top user interface in case if we need. And now we'll move on to the second command, which is vmstat. So what does it do? So here you can see the procs, the memory, swap, IO system, CPU. What does it tell us? So vmstat actually tells us everything that we need to know about the virtual memory. So the system starts using the virtual memory when it runs out of physical memory. We all know that. So therefore, to start with, virtual memory will always be 0. Right. So along with virtual memory stats, VM stats gives us a lot more information about system processes, the interrupts, the block IO operations, the disks, the paging, the CPU scheduling, and more. And that's why we are using the vmstat command. And here you can see it's not as dense as the top command, right? But with just a few options, we can still get all the information we need. For example, pausing the option A, like let me give you and I'll show you what happens when I type vmstat -a. So this gives us the active and the inactive memory info. So here you can see the active memory here, and then the inactive memory here, right? So that's, we can find it through the vmstat -a. So we can easily understand how much memory is active and how much memory is inactive, basically the memory percentage. And then we can use the command which is vmstat -s. So what does this gives us? So here, if you see, this gives us all the information that we need about the CPU scheduling, right? The command is vmstat -s. So here you can see the total memory, the used memory, the active memory, inactive, free, buffer, swap, total, used, free swap, every single thing that we need in terms of the CPU scheduling, right? So with that, we'll move on to the next topic, that is else-off. What does this else-off does? So here you can see the list of details, the else-off commands basically. So in Linux, every single thing depends on files. For example, the network adapters and even any USB accessory that we plug in are all controlled using files. So any issues with hardware or even software on a Linux machine has to be debugged using files. So else-off, or we call it as list of open files, is a handy command which quickly see the list of open files and associated processes. And in this image, you can see I have shown you a truncated list of the else-off command output. I'll just show you the truncated list. So this table gives us a lot of information, including the command used to run the process that owns the file, the PID, the user who owns the process. Here you can see everything is being owned by Azure user, basically me, which is owned by me. So the type and so when I say type, it's the else-off, and then the size and the file and much more. So we can use various options with the command, the else-off command, the list of open files command, to filter files for a particular user or by files used by a certain port and so on. So these includes commands like, okay, let me just clear this for now. For example, if I want to filter owner files by owner, I can use it like else-off -u and Azure user. So now you can see I've got the else-off files who is owned by the Azure user. So this will actually help us to understand when we are running a test. You can easily list down the set of files that has been used by the performance, the test users. And then we can use the command to filter files of processors listening to a certain port. Say, for example, if I want to run like else-off -i TCP colon 22, sorry. Okay, there are no files, so we aren't able to find anything. Let me try with the SSH command. SSH. Okay, yeah. So here you can see. So this is the port that is used to connect to this machine. So I'm able to filter the files of processes which are listening to this certain point, which is the certain port, which is the SSH22 port. And then the fourth command, the most important one, which is the TCP dump. So what does this do? Okay, I don't have permission. Yes, so it's by the root user. So I'll do a sudo TCP dump. So what does this do? So here you can see a list of files, right? So to debug any network related issues or to check any traffic of any specific application or services on machines, we can use the command the TCP dump. So now here you can see the screenshot, the screen of the command's output. So as you can see from the commands that we have seen so far, the TCP dump provides the source address. Yes, so you can see the source address in this command. So here, for example, you can see this is the source address and the destination IP, the type of protocol it is used, the amount of bytes it transferred. So all these items can be seen here and much more. So this information is useful when you're trying to trace a network call. So when you're sending when you're doing a testing, you need to find the network calls, right? Or to check for any unusual network activity. So this command also comes in handy to check if a package or a service is making calls to any unauthorized host or any IP addresses. If so, it also checks whether any unauthorized sensitive data is being shared that should not be, or see if any extra packages are being downloaded that could result in security risks. And then the last command of this video, which is the netstat. What does this netstat do? Let's see. So here you can see a list of commands, right? So netstat is a command which is used to identify the open port. So if there are any open ports, I can easily see that. And if there are any connection to any external IP addresses and the connection status. So all these can be viewed through the netstat command. So this command actually provides the protocol used, the local and the foreign IP addresses, and also the state of the connection. And this actually helps us to find out if a process has all its ports open. Say, for example, if I scroll up, here you can see the list of open ports, the foreign IP addresses, and also the state of connection. So this actually helps us to find if a process has all its ports open and if they're being used or not. So this can help debug many network related problems. Say, for example, if let's say your application is working fine, but if there are any issues in terms of the network, you can easily find it. So this, in fact, this command also help debug potential network issues. Then there have been many reported instances of security breaches where a network port has been made open on the public internet, which can lead to an attack. Maybe you can even see any performance spikes due to that. So whenever we install, whenever we deploy any new services, we need to ensure there are no unnecessarily open ports that might result in security risks. So with that, I come to the end of this video. I believe this video would be very useful to you. So I'm not, in fact, I will even discuss about the other commands which we need, but these which we have seen now are the very critical command that you might need as a performance tester or a performance engineer. So we'll discuss more topics in terms of Linux with the performance testing world. So thank you so much for watching this video. So until I see you all in the next video, it's bye bye from Vasan Shanmugam and your favorite Little Star YouTube channel. Take care and bye bye.